coaches, healers, and creatives. How much money are you leaving on the table? CoachOS is the world's leading all-in-one software that automates your business, scales your income, and replaces all your other softwares for a fraction of the cost. Grab your free trial now at the link in the show notes.
Hey, this is Annie Veblen McCarty, and I'm going to teach you how to be effortlessly productive. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and I got sick and tired of experts preaching what business and life should look like and what I should be doing as a leader and to turn a profit, only to find myself wasting time, burned out, feeling inauthentic, and still not making any money. On this show, we are ditching the shoulds. I'm giving you permission to do business differently. As a certified master coach, I believe that everything you need to have success and build the life and business of your dreams is already living on the inside. I'm going to empower you to lean into what you do best, help you see your path forward clearly, and give you the strategy and action steps along the way to become effortlessly productive. Let's dive in.
Welcome to today's episode of Effortlessly Productive. I am so excited for this episode today. We are going to be talking about something called tech fatigue. So we're going to dive into what is tech fatigue and also figuring out how do you know if you have it. Let's get started. Tech fatigue, what is it? So tech fatigue is the hidden exhaustion that happens when entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers spend more time wrestling with technology than actually doing the work that they love. Does that sound familiar? Maybe a little bit. So it's what keeps those spiritual entrepreneurs stuck in that busy work instead of focusing on their magic, on their mission, on their impact. And it's not just about that frustration that you might experience with tech. It's about all of those energy leaks that you have, right? Our businesses are so focused on the energy that we bring. So when we have energy leaks, that can really tank our business. It's also about the lost income that we have because we're spending so much time on the tech. And it's also about the burnout caused by trying to do it yourself on every single system instead of having the right automation in place. So that is what tech fatigue is. I am going to go through a few things today that are going to help you identify if you have tech fatigue and what some of those symptoms might look like for each one. On another episode, we will then dive into how to start healing the tech fatigue. What are some solutions to fixing the tech fatigue? If I did it all in one, this would be like the longest episode ever. So you're going to have to wait for the next bit of it. But today, let's just focus on diagnosing how do you know if you have tech fatigue? Does this sound familiar? Do you spend more time fixing tech than actually coaching or creating or healing or working with your clients or making money? You started your business to help people, right? You started your business to make that impact, to heal people, to help them. But somehow you've become your own IT department. Your days maybe are filled with troubleshooting your email automations, fixing website issues, fixing broken funnels, instead of actually working with your clients. So if that sounds familiar, if you have been spending so much time and energy in your day with all of that instead of actually helping the people that you set out to serve, then that is a huge, huge sign that you probably have tech fatigue. Another symptom of tech fatigue is if you feel overwhelmed every single time you think about setting up a business system. So that feeling of overwhelm just takes you over. The very thought of setting up another email sequence or integrating your payment processor, if that exhausts you and you feel like you just need to go take a nap every single time you think about it, that is a huge sign that you probably have tech fatigue. So Another aspect of this overwhelm too might be like, that you should, you guys know how much I love that should word. You should be automating, but every single tutorial you take, every single tech guide feels like a foreign language, and you just hit that place of overwhelm and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is going to take so much time. Again, that overwhelm just washes over you. That is a sign that you have tech fatigue. Another symptom of this is maybe you've paid for a really expensive software platform, but you're barely even using it. Sound familiar? There's a lot of people who have signed up for Kajabi or ActiveCampaign or ClickFunnels or the newest, hottest must-have platform, and there is no judgment here. I have done that in the past, and some of these, they can be very good platforms for specific people, but if you're not actually using all of those features, or you're spending hundreds of dollars a month on all these tools that are just sitting there untouched because they're way too complicated, that is a major symptom of tech fatigue. Now, does this sound familiar? I know I was stuck in this for a really long time. It's part of how I know this topic so well. So if you have rebuilt your opt-ins, your sales pages, your workflows multiple times, maybe you've switched from one email marketing platform to another, if you lose track of where all your lead magnets are, where they're actually hosted, what email sequence goes with what, if every single time you launch a program and it feels like you're starting from scratch instead of having that smooth, repeatable system, those are huge signs that tech fatigue is setting in. Another aspect of this too, and as I go through all of this, you might find that like one or two are landing really hard, and maybe some of the other ones you're like, well, that's not me right now, and that's okay. If any of what I'm describing sounds familiar in any way, it is probably a sign that you are experiencing one level of tech fatigue or another. If you have clients and leads who are slipping through the cracks, this might look like you get DMs from people who are interested in working with you, but there's no clear path for them to follow. There's no funnel for them to go into your offer. There's no way for you to easily get them into what you are offering. Or maybe this looks like you forget to follow up with potential clients because your way of tracking these potential clients of yours, maybe you don't even have a system, or the system that you're using isn't organized, it's not automated, and you're losing people along the way. This could also look like people are visiting your sales pages, but you aren't actually capturing them into your offers or into your automated nurture sequences. So again, that is another kind of category of what tech fatigue can look like. We have a couple more little symptoms here to talk about. If you are spending so many hours on admin work instead of growing your business. So this might look like you manually onboarding every single client instead of having an automated client onboarding process. This can also go for customer service. If you do not have a automated or a very laid out customer service process, that can also be a huge sign of this. If you are constantly resending the same emails, if you are tracking your payments in spreadsheets manually, if you are copying and pasting links for calls, that can all be how this looks like. And by the end of the day, if you are exhausted because of all of this admin work, all of this busy work, and you sit there and you realize you haven't actually made any more money, huge, huge sign. The next thing that I want you to think about, if you feel like you're duct taping your business together with way too many tools. I see this all the time where people have a ton of different platforms. And a lot of the time they're like, I love my email marketing platform. And I really love the place that my website is hosted. Like my website is beautiful. And I also have this place to take payments. I'm like sending out links with Stripe or PayPal, and like each individual one works, but these platforms don't actually integrate together. And when you think about it as a whole picture, it just feels like a jumbled mess. Or sometimes maybe you are like, okay, I love my email platform, but when people are on my website, I can't figure out how to get them to automatically sign up for my emails. It's in a totally different platform, right? So you're having to like take people manually who fill out a form on your website and manually enter them over into your email marketing. So that can be another way that this looks. Maybe you have figured out how to use a platform like Zapier, and I love Zapier for certain uses. I use it with some of my clients, but if you're using Zapier just to make everything talk to each other, these tons of platforms that you have, and then you're getting those emails that are like, oh, you have an error in your automation. Oh my gosh, when those pop in, that is a huge sign too that you are just duct taping these tools together and it's not this seamless system, right? Or every single time you add something new, let's say you create a new course or you are launching a new course. And so you create a funnel or you have a new lead magnet that you want to put out there. And every single time you add that one new thing on, it just makes the entire system and everything in your business feel more complicated. That is also a big sign of this duct taping symptom. So the last one we're going to talk about today is if your business doesn't feel easy, if your business feels like work, if it doesn't feel fun, this might look like if you feel disconnected from your magic in the flow of your work, because you're constantly buried in those back-end tasks. If every time you sit down to work on your business, it feels so heavy and so overwhelming, instead of feeling exciting, instead of feeling expansive, instead of feeling the way it was when you had this idea to start this business and you were so excited about it, if it doesn't feel effortless, if it doesn't feel that ease, if it doesn't feel like fun, that is a huge, huge sign, my friend, that you may be experiencing some tech fatigue. This episode today was not to guilt and shame you. It is not to make you feel bad. It is to help you start to identify this thing that so many spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches and healers and creators and visionaries that I meet, they are experiencing this and they don't understand why. They don't have a name for it. They don't understand what is going on. They just feel like they've lost their magic or lost their passion, or maybe this isn't meant for me. And so what's underlying that is all of these symptoms that I went through with you today. What is actually going on is they're experiencing tech fatigue. And this is not a sign that you aren't meant for this business. This is a sign that we just need to figure out a little bit different way of doing things so that we can get out of that pattern of tech fatigue and we can figure out how to break free of that. And we can go out there and do what we were meant to do, share our gifts and our magic with the world. We can spend more of our time coaching people and healing people and helping people and creating this beautiful world and this beautiful place for people to be. That is still there. We just have to work on healing this tech fatigue and figuring out what to do with your tech. Because I'm not saying not to do tech. I'm just saying we got to do things a little bit of a different way. My next episode, we are going to talk about some ways to start to fix some of these tech fatigue things that you might be running into, these things that are creating that tech fatigue. So make sure that you tune into my next episode, especially if this one hit particularly home today for you. If you were like, yep, That's me. That's me. That's me. Catch the next episode, and we are going to dive into what steps you can take next and some things that we can start to do to help heal this so we can get you back to that place of that effortless ease and fun and play in your business again, so that you are so excited to go out there and make that impact that you are making on the world. I will catch you on the next episode. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.